Okay, this is for teachers. This is a training actually to just give you some thoughts behind why we chose what we did, why I chose what we did, and how I have done certain things. I do want to say, that one of the aims that we have in this is to create a visual picture in a creative way that will help the kids understand the Bible's world view, that we're always in God's story, that we have an enemy of our souls, and there is the fall, there is warfare, that the victory of Jesus is on the cross, and what action we need to take to be rescued, and that, of course, the reconnection and the safe place for us is in Jesus. So those are the things that we're really aiming at, trying to create in this very creative way, hopefully, by doing the superhero story ideas. And so we want to introduce those concepts to the kids who've never heard it, of course. And then we want the kids who know this story really, in some ways, backwards and forwards, to think of it from a different point of view, and hopefully it will just be something that will stir them up in their own faith in the Lord and to seek out more from Him. So as far as the actual training, I mean, you can tell if you listen to some of these lessons, it's a story is what we've done. We've done it from a story mindset, and it's written in a very conversational style if you've looked at your script. And what you would want to do is just become familiar with the flow of the presentation from the script to understand the basic teaching that's being presented, that superhero story framework that we have put it in. Then you want to figure out how you're going to use your script, whether you do it, just holding it in papers like this. I have put mine in a notebook, and it just keeps it organized for me, and that I found was helpful. I'm using my actually a little pillow stand, reading pillow that I have from at home, so that I could put my notebook in a place that I can look at it if I can't hold it in my hands, but it's still close enough for mine. So that's something you will probably want to think about, how to hold your script or where to put it. I would highly recommend that you practice this and read it aloud several times, because there is such a thing as mouth memory. I mean, I have lived with this script for a long time, and it still is a challenge for me, too, to even get it to just remember it and put it all in and to hear my own voice say it. So I highly recommend that you practice reading it several times and making it your own. There is, of course, leeway in saying things in a different way than what is exactly written there, but we do hope that we want you to keep the basic message and the information there, and to use the flow of the visuals to help present that. So now the visuals. Visuals are so important, especially with kids, I really think, and to create them in a set or in steps rather than just give the whole finished version of it, I think is really important. The basic visuals are all going to be provided for you: the golden board, the angel pieces, both of these, and the earth globe that's ready to hang. These words at this point are written out, not having cut them separately, but personally I like doing them individually because, again, it just emphasizes them and gives a progression. But if you feel like, oh, that's just so much to do, you can leave them on a sheet of paper. And I highlighted those just because I thought that was cool. That's part of the way I have treated this and being creative. But that is supplied for you, these words. And from the other side, all the Team Adam things are provided. These rectangles, the white one underneath and the gray one, this separation, the white Team Adam, and then
Team Jesus.
Thank you, Team Jesus, and then the things to make the cross. It's all cut out, but you would have to tape it and make your own cross. And I believe that the memory verses posters are going to be supplied for you. I wrote mine out because they're not ready yet, but so there are certain things that we have chosen to ask you to get ready, because that does help you kind of have ownership of this and make it your own. So as I said, you would make the cross, and then you would be writing out these words. We have a bag of stuff in it. There are strips of paper, both in gray and in white, for you to write those things out. Things for the cross, the things for the word creator, and also that you would make the little in Jesus visual. Those things are there for you to make the little cross and paste it on, and also to put on the back of it a pin. That's all in here that you can do, and I think that's a good thing to have you make that a part of your own. Having spent several months trying to figure out how to create this picture, and have experimented quite a bit with placing things on the board and seeing what will stick, the main conclusion, what will stick and what will also come off easily when I want it to come off. The main conclusion that I had arrived at is the best tape for taping onto this golden board is actually this clear packing tape that you take, of course, and you roll it inside out, so the sticky side is out, but in a roll, and put that on the back of your word, or whatever it is that you're putting up there. Why are we using tape? And that's kind of fussy to do, and so, instead of something else, because I really, really wanted to keep the board as free of what I would call marring as possible. And so I didn't want anything that was glued to it and that I couldn't remove, and have it be clean and good for each lesson that's done. And I didn't want anything poked into it that has holes all over it that's representing God. So that's basically the reason. But this comes off without taking the gold off, we have discovered, and it's easy to put on and take off. So one concern, of course, is that these visuals are built as you speak, and they're not just held up. So it's a little fussier to do it that way. And there's also, I think, as we have visuals, that there's a need to practice doing this, because it's a foreign, unfamiliar thing. So it's good to know, if I put it this way, it works. If I put it this way, it doesn't work, or I don't like it. And so just to have the ability to practice putting it on and taking it off is an important thing. And that's another reason why we used tape. Now, actually, interesting thing you learn about tape when you practice with it a lot. This tape does not stick well to itself. Neither does Scotch tape stick well to itself when you're trying to get it to do what you want it to do. So what I've done actually is I have taken Scotch tape and I have put strips of it on the back side of each paper product that I'm using. And then that gives me a surface that you can easily take this other tape off of, and yet this tape will stick to it. And the reason you want to take it off is because you want to practice, and you also have to store things. And so you don't want to have a whole table full of stuff with tape on it while you're before you're ready to use it. And also, eventually the tape does lose some of its stickiness, and so you have to be able to take it off and put a new piece of tape on it. Okay, so that's the reason why I highly recommend, and I really don't know of any other way that works, but you can try it if you want to. I put the strip of Scotch tape along the backside of anything that you want to stick, like the backside of these, and the backside of each of your words, the backside of your separate one, your separation, and the backside of the cross, the backside of that one. Okay, so now, how much tape you will have to use actually really depends on, are you doing it in a windy place or a non-windy place? So obviously for your windy places, you would need, rather than just putting a piece of tape in the center, you probably need to make sure you have the Scotch tape all the way out to the edges, and put your other rolled up tape on both ends so that the wind is not going to catch it. If you're in a non-windy place, then something in the center is plenty to do. And the other reason for using tape this way is I know that some of you have you have stations, and so you're redoing the Bible lesson several times in stages as kids come through to your station. And so that's another reason why. It's just important to be able to get it up there, but also take it down and have it be ready for the next group. And that's what this kind of taping does do for you. I do suggest, because things happen, you're piece falls to the ground and gets dusty or whatever, that you have several extra little rolls, already made up rolls of this tape, either on a little plate nearby or that someone can quickly pass to you, or somewhere, so that you can quickly put on a new piece of tape if you feel like it is no longer as sticky as you need it to be. Another idea about these visuals is if you feel like it's just too much for you to think of the script and do the visuals, get a helper. Have a helper. Understand where you are in the script and what they need to do, and they can put up your visuals for you if you feel like it's just more than what you want to do. I do suggest that you get the pieces ready beforehand, probably that day, not the day before, because the stickiness does, for some reason, tend to not be quite as good if it's just sitting there in the air. But so that morning, as you're getting ready, go ahead and put your pieces out on the table, face down with your sticky side up. And so what I have done is often I know the word on that side, see what I mean? You can drop it. On this side, it's creator. And so what I did is, since it's going to be face down, I wrote the word creator here, and over in this corner, actually, I put a circle with a 1 in it, and the 1 means it belongs to lesson 1. That will really help you if on all of these you put in the corner what lesson these words belong to. And then especially for this one, I also, right by the word, I put number 1, number 2, number 3, so that I knew what order I would be putting the words up. Those are things that are just really helpful. Let's see. And if it's a windy day, then I would suggest, I just put it here on the table, but if it's windy, I would put these things in a cake pan or something that has a rimmed side that will protect it from being blown away. That, I think, would be helpful. I have a couple of words that I pull out as I'm talking, and what I did for that, again, if it works, I knew where they were going to be in my script, and so I just have them paper clipped there so I can slip them out and use them when I want that. I also, in my notebook, when I did quite a bit of underlining, highlighting, and when I realized as I practiced it, I want to emphasize that word, I might color it. Anyway, I made it my own in that way. That might be helpful to you. Now, just one thing about these angel visuals. So you have an angel visual. Let's see, let me get yours over here just a second. In the bag, you have the dark angels and you have the earth. This one's a little big, so it's probably not going to be in the bag. But the way it is created is to give you a slot right here, which allows this to slip in behind it and stand in that little space. That's what holds that in place, okay? So that's what you're aiming at, leaving that free so that can slip in. I will say that it's important on this, the taping of this. I actually put some strips of tape, Scotch tape already here, but since this piece is carrying the weight of itself and the black and the earth ball, it's important that it's pretty stable on your board. So I would suggest that you put a horizontal roll here, an up and down one here, and then if it's really windy, put another horizontal one there so that you've got tape from a couple of angles that will really hold this on, because it does hold the other things. But again, then you can just slip it off. I'll show you. It's not a difficult thing to take this tape off of this board. See, it goes pretty easily. And then, yeah, you put it back on again. So it does seem to work. It's a little fussy to get it ready, but it does seem to work. Okay. Oh yes, the other fussy piece is this one, because it's just this C-shaped square, or three-sided thing. And so what I have done, let's see, it's going to be given to you in this shape so that we can protect it, because it's so easy to bend and fold and even rip it. And I would suggest, let me see if I can take this off here. I would suggest that you put the Scotch tape in each of the bottom ones, and then a very thinly rolled up piece of that other tape in each of the corners. That will be super stable, especially for you in the wind. May not need it quite as much, the bottom one maybe, if you're not in a windy place. But that's what this one is. I'm sorry that it's that fussy, and I wish it weren't, but I didn't know how else to make that separation. And then, you know, as you put it on, then you can stabilize it like that. Okay, let's see. Okay, I think basically that covers the nitty-gritty of getting things ready. Thank you for teaching. And blessings as you prepare. Frankly, I mean, I will tell you, Steve and I have been praying for you all along as I have been preparing. And also for the kids who are going to be hearing you. We are asking the Lord for kids to be saved. And also for the kids who are already saved to grow in their understanding and their faith responses to the Lord. So, blessings.